Okay, so this is my first video, although I've thought about doing this for a while because this situation has been going on for a while. Um, this is me becoming homeless. I'm sorry, I'm just watching somebody walk and make sure they keep walking. So currently I'm in Calgary, and before you start jumping to conclusions and everything, I actually have a full-time job, and I've been employed for the last 10 years full-time. And the company I'm with is actually an okay company overall. They have put up with a lot of what I would call BS from me, from calling in sick and that, but it's never been that I've been sick. It's that the person I'm with, my partner, yes, I'm a gay man, is a drug addict. And when we got together, he had made promises that he didn't do stuff like that, and that he was stopping everything, which turned out to not really be the case. And over the past few years, it's actually gotten worse. So I don't know how long this video is going to be. Maybe it'll be 5 minutes, maybe it'll be 10, maybe I'll have to cut it up. I don't know. I don't even know if it's going on YouTube, TikTok, wherever. But I need to start documenting this because it's too crazy. So currently, I'm sitting in a bus shelter at Whitehorn Drive in Calgary, across from a 7-Eleven, which didn't have coffee, by the way. And I am having to wait now for a bus until, I think, around 4 o'clock. It is now 3:30, and I've been up since about 2:30. So part of the story is that my partner, who I'm gonna remain nameless at the point of this video, and I, when we first moved in together, we actually had a nice apartment in a high rise, and although we started with nothing, we made do. We were both working, and then stuff happened there. Not any of this real drug stuff, but other shit that went down. Yeah, I do tend to swear a lot. And we ended up moving in with his mother for a few months, who is a elder in the indigenous community. And because of all her traumas and stuff that's now been passed on to her children, she also tends to keep the liquor stores here very happy. So after a few months of being there, I'm trying to make my story short at the moment. Maybe I'll go into other parts at some time, but after a few months there, I made the bold move, and this was all going on in Calgary. I made the bold move of taking a job in Edmonton, which is where I started with the company I'm with now. And I moved up there on my own, and he would come and see me every weekend, which was fine. But when I was there on my own and working, I managed to regain a lot of stuff I'd lost in a previous relationship. And I was able to save up a fair amount of money for myself. We're talking like $6,000, $7,000, $8,000, something like that. And then he decided to move up there. And because the woman I was living with as a boarder at the time, it wasn't really an ideal situation for the two of us to live with her. We decided to get a spot. So I took my money and I put a down payment on a very nice condo. Although in a basement suite, it was brand new. And I took a lot of the money and I bought new furniture, couches, beds, everything that we needed. Which left me close to broke, but not broke. But that was fine, because we were both working. So after a few months at that place, I had enough money saved up again that I decided to buy my own vehicle because we were only using his, and I was taking a bus, or he was driving me. So I bought my vehicle. And that's when he decided to start doing drugs again, which he seems to always be able to find. And trust me, I've been with him on the streets and they do just find him. So he stopped working and I was the sole income again, now with 2 vehicles and rent. And we had moved in the meantime to a cheaper apartment because our landlord had sold the building that we were in. So while we were there and he stopped working, he lost his vehicle because, Daddy ain't paying for that. So after he lost his vehicle, he basically didn't do a thing. Although I did offer him the use of my vehicle because I could always just take the bus to work. So, lo and behold, he does get another job and we're managing again. And then we decide to move to a really nice building because now we're both working again and his drug thing is kind of on the back burner again. But I didn't know that. It wasn't. Anyways, he again loses his job there, which is an issue. So again, he's not working. And again, he starts doing drugs. And in the meantime, when we bought this new place, I took out a loan to furnish this place with really nice, brand new furnishings. TVs, bed. No, not the bed. We kept the bed. But sofa, chair. We bought a lot of new stuff. And then one night he decides to do his drug thing and I come home. And this is in the middle of winter in Edmonton. And the doors and windows are all wide open to the patios. So it is like literally 0 degrees in the apartment. And we have water heating. So I start flipping out. And he becomes very abusive when he's like this. He starts accusing me of doing all this stuff, which I don't do. And then he proceeds to, because I take off in my vehicle, because I don't want to be around it, he proceeds to take a knife to everything in the apartment. And he takes my clothes and puts them in the shower and dumps bleach all over them. So I'm left with nothing again. Now, let's get this straight. This has been going on now for a while, and yeah, maybe I'm an idiot. But it's not the person, it's the drugs doing it. The person needs the help. So, after he calms down and he becomes a person I knew again, we do this chit chat about changing things big time. And one of them was to maybe leave Alberta. So we head off to Ontario. And luckily, I can transfer my job there. So I stay with the same company, we move there, and we're in Ontario for a while. As soon as we get there, he gets a really nice union job. And he works at it. But when we go there, I have 2 weeks vacation to take to use up from my previous employment with my company. So I'm not really getting any income in, and he's getting pissed off because he's paying for everything. Well, hello, I paid for everything for 3 years at that point. You can suck it up for 2 weeks. So he gets another job offer and takes that, which he then realizes was a bad mistake, and he ends up quitting. By this time I'm working, but I have to wait 2 weeks to get paid again, so as you can understand, our money situation is always really tight when we first go to Ontario. And as it turns out, he basically doesn't work the whole time that we're there, which is around a year. And he, again, finds drugs constantly while we're there, in the middle of Oakville. They are everywhere. So, I get a new job there, paying much better. And I go to that job, and while we're there, I get a nice little phone call from Ford because I haven't been able to pay the vehicle. And they want the vehicle back or paid for in full. And at this point, he realizes how much he had fucked up again. And I'm like, yeah, the vehicle that we are living in, because we don't have an apartment or anything in Ontario, the vehicle that we're living in they want it. Now, get this vehicle living thing is something that we've always talked about, the van lifing thing. Because I don't understand why you pay for rent or you buy a mortgage and somehow the government still owns it. And if you don't think I'm right, try not paying your property taxes and see if the government doesn't come and take your house, because they do own it. Anyways, so we decide to head back to Ontario because they're looking for the vehicle or we head back to Alberta because they're looking for the vehicle in Ontario. So we come back to Alberta. We don't go back to Edmonton, we come back to Calgary because he has family here. Big mistake. But we come back. I'm able to get my job back with my old company, which has a branch here in Calgary. And he says he's going to work day jobs. Doesn't really do that. I keep looking around because there could be people at any moment show up. And at this time in the morning, you don't know what they want. So, although we're at his mother's again, we are living in the garage, not the vehicle. But I don't really like it. I've become accustomed to living in the vehicle, and I actually prefer it now. So I take the steps of going back to the vehicle, which is where I have basically been. Although over the winter months when it was cool, like downright cold, I did go back into the residence with his mother because she has an extra bedroom at that point. This is a long, boring story. Oh my God. I'm just trying to get everything down, and then maybe at some point I'll go back and recap little bits. There's some guy over there just wandering around, and I think he sees me over here now, so he was going to come this way. If that's the case, I'm going to end my video, and I'll continue from that point, but yeah, anyways. Yeah, he's coming this way, so don't forget, we're back inside at the mother's. He's not really working. Yeah, they're coming this way.